Last week on Legally Kidnapped.
Good evening. Our top story this week, fearmonger Janet Napolitano thinks it's a good idea for the TSA to pat down small children. A bill before the U.S. Senate would remove the need for Senate confirmation for top juvenile justice and child welfare jobs. And rich people are spending their kids' inheritance. Georgia launches a review over foster kids' psych meds. The kid whose mom held off police for 10 hours is set to be released to relatives soon as she does not need to be medicated after the judge rules that the mom had the legal authority to take the kid off of psych meds. And under a new budget proposal, Michigan's foster kids would only get clothing from second-hand stores such as the Salvation Army and Goodwill. The ACLU takes on Michigan's two-parent adoption ban. Arizona passes a bill making married people the preferred candidates for adopting children. And the state of Virginia protects religious liberties by not forcing faith-based adoption agencies to sell your kids to homosexuals. In Maine this week, a 16-year-old sexually assaults a staffer at a Spurwink-run group home. And a judge says that a lawsuit can go forward regarding a transgendered 5th grader's use of the school bathroom. A mother from Sacramento wants to ban the Happy Meal toy. The acting head of Los Angeles DCFS quits, and the only other candidate for the job withdraws from the race. And 66% of foster kids in Alaska are Native Americans. In Iowa this week, officials are warning of fake social workers who are knocking on parents' doors. School principals in Louisiana must now file the checklist when using corporal punishment. The ACLU is going after Rhode Island for locking up truants. And Nebraska has a record number of calls to the hotline last year. In Nevada, siblings are separated in 20 to 30% of all foster care cases. New York State bureaucrats try to ban certain games at summer camps such as kickball and dodgeball as being dangerous. And a New York State Senate bill would make camp directors mandated reporters of child abuse and neglect. In Pennsylvania, mandated reporters are confused about their child abuse reporting responsibilities. North Dakota's foster care system is broken. In Washington, brain scientists are going to do a study on foster children, and less than half of U.S. teens still live with both of their parents. In Malaysia, boys who are identified as effeminate by their teachers are sent to a 4-day masculinity camp to prevent them from being gay or transgendered. Mexico's drug wars are leaving behind many orphans. India bans children from working in the circus. And in New Zealand, a former foster child who suffered abuse while in care wants to start a class action with other kids. In Australia this week, the head of Children's Services in New South Wales is busted with child porn. In Canada this week, the tasering of an 11-year-old boy by police sparks a child abuse investigation. In England this week, lawyers admit to making £645 million off the breakdown of the family. A church bans parents from taking pictures of the child choir, which has even been attacked as ludicrous by so-called child protection experts. Kids 5 and over are languishing in the British foster care system because they're too old to be adopted. And a foster mother loses her husband, mother, and 2 foster kids when their car goes into a reservoir. After refusing a piss test, Brooke Mueller goes back to rehab, but he keeps shooting his mouth off. The media gets booted from the courtroom over questions of abuse, and Brooke keeps the kids anyway. And although Halle Berry drops a Broadway play over a custody issue with her kid, she is still able to set a better example than the Sheen family by resolving the issue like a civilized human being. An Orange County, California woman wins $4.9 million lawsuit after the child protective industry workers lied in order to snatch her kids. A mom from New York gets $2 million after being wrongfully arrested in the death of her child. And a family from Virginia sues the child protective industry for wrongfully snatching their kids. A California foster mother is sentenced to 16 years for killing her foster daughter. Parents are pissed after a Georgia daycare provider is arrested for failure to report child abuse. In Oklahoma, an ex-child welfare worker is charged with neglect of duties and filing false reports. And the Oklahoma cop who was honored last year for selfless dedication to children is rearrested and charged with 37 counts of sexual abuse against 4 boys. And the Oklahoma cop who was honored last year for selfless dedication to children is rearrested and charged with 37 counts of sexual abuse against 4 boys. A Tennessee couple is on trial for child abuse and the torture of their foster children. A former child abuse investigator from Wisconsin gets a $2,000 fine for falsifying records. A 16-year-old mother from Florida is accused of snatching her baby back from a child welfare caseworker. In Texas, a 6-year-old brings a gun to school and shoots 3 kids. And in Colorado, an 11-year-old gets arrested for playing with a toy gun. Texas is withholding records from grown-up foster kids. And finally, tonight, a Washington teen fakes a pregnancy for 6 months as part of a school project. For these stories and all the latest dirt on the child protective industry, visit www.legallykidnapped.com. And until next week, this is Baby LK, over and out.